Does fasting really cause ulcer? Does consumption of spicy foods really cause ulcer? Two questions. Are these two questions a myth or a fact? Hey guys, I'm dietitian Larry Gaga, your friendly neighborhood dietitian, and today on Nutrition Myth versus Fact, we are going to be answering those two questions. One, does fasting really cause ulcer? And second question, does consumption of spicy foods really cause ulcer? Sit back and relax. By the end of this video, those two questions would have been answered. Now, you need to understand that the word ulcer is a clinical term used to describe an injury, a sore, or a lesion that develops on the lining of an organ or a tissue as a result of damage, infection, or inflammation. As a matter of fact, we have various types of ulcer. We have diabetic foot ulcer, we have mouth ulcer, we have arterial ulcer, we have genital ulcer, we have pressure ulcer, we have venous ulcer, and of course the most popular of them all, which is the peptic ulcer, which we are going to be talking about in this video. Now, the peptic ulcer can be divided into three types of ulcer. We have the esophageal ulcer, which is a sore. Remember I said ulcer are sores, which is a sore that develops at the lower end of your esophagus. We also have the gastric ulcer, which is a sore that develops on the lining of your stomach, and the third type of peptic ulcer, which is the duodenal ulcer, which develops at your small intestine, the first part of your small intestine, which is your duodenum. Now, what causes this peptic ulcer? I'm going to be giving you guys three causes of peptic ulcer, and you're going to determine if fasting is among them or not. The first and most common cause of peptic ulcer is a bacteria known as the Helicobacter pylori bacteria. You see, just like every other bacteria, you can get infected from stool, from feces, or even from the saliva, from eating contaminated food or drinking contaminated water. But as a matter of fact, most of us were infected with this bacteria at childhood. Now here is an interesting fact. About 50 to 70% of the world's population are in fact infected with this Helicobacter pylori bacteria, H. pylori for short. But out of this 50 to 70% of people with this bacteria, only about 10 to 20% will actually develop an illness from it. The remaining percentage have something we call genetic resistance, which means the bacteria is in you, but it doesn't lead to any illness. So it's among these 10% that come up with ulcer. Now, what does this Helicobacter pylori bacteria do? The Helicobacter pylori bacteria damages the lining of the stomach and the small intestine, causing a sore or an injury, which is ulcer, or an inflammation, which we call gastritis. Now, when it causes this sore and injury, whenever the stomach releases acid, there's already a sore in your stomach from the Helicobacter pylori bacteria, and your stomach releases acid to help digest your food whenever you eat. This now causes the upset and the symptoms of ulcer, like the indigestion, the bloating, the discomfort, the stomach discomfort, even the chest pain and the back pain. You see, the chest pain and the back pain happens as a result of something we call referred pain. This is where your brain is transmitting a pain you are feeling somewhere else to another place. Your brain is practically telling your chest, come on bro, help me hold this pain. You are feeling the pain in your stomach. The ulceration is happening in your stomach, but you are feeling the pain in your chest or in your back, because your brain has interpreted the pain and referred it to another place. Now, this H. pylori bacteria also causes the stomach to release excess amount of acid, and this excess amount of acid will of course cause the symptom of ulcer. So you see, that is the first and most common cause of ulcer, peptic ulcer. The Helicobacter pylori bacteria damages the lining of the stomach and the small intestine, and whenever your stomach releases acid, since there is a sore, a lesion, or an injury there, this acid now causes the discomfort and the symptoms known as ulcer. Now, the second cause of ulcer is a type of drug called the NSAID, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Now, these are a type of painkillers that are used to relieve mild pains. You see, most people abuse these drugs. Abuse of these NSAID drugs will lead to decreased production of mucus. You see, your stomach acid is very powerful. Your stomach produces stomach gastric juices, which is your hydrochloric acid and enzymes and every other thing. This hydrochloric acid is very, very powerful and can even digest a metal. Yes, but there is something that is supposed to protect your stomach lining from this hydrochloric acid, and that is your stomach mucus, and of course other things, but basically your stomach mucus. But you see, these NSAID drugs, your aspirin, your diclofenac, your ibuprofen, that you can get over the counter whenever you feel pain and inflammation, what they do is they cause the reduction in the production of a hormone-like substance called prostaglandin. Now, this prostaglandin is what makes you feel pain whenever you are hurt, whenever you are injured. But that's not the only use. The prostaglandin also works in helping the stomach produce mucus. So when you are taking these drugs, these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, in excess, you are abusing it. While it might be working for your pain and helping you relieve your pain, it's also stopping the production of mucus, the mucus in your stomach that is supposed to help protect your stomach lining from the stomach acid. So you see the correlation. You abuse these drugs, less mucus is produced in your stomach, and whenever your stomach acid is released, it can easily cause the lesions or the injuries or the sore in your stomach lining. So this is the second cause of ulcer, the abuse of the NSAID drugs. Now, the third cause of peptic ulcer is excessive production of stomach acid. You see, there's a normal range of stomach acid which your stomach should produce to help you in digestion whenever you eat, but there are certain factors that can cause the stomach to produce excessive amounts, and if your stomach produces excessive amounts always, it could lead to sores and injuries in your stomach, which will now cause ulcer. So now, what are these factors that can make the stomach to produce excessive amounts of the stomach acid? I mentioned the Helicobacter pylori bacteria earlier. Yeah, that's one. There's also a rare condition called the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. This is a syndrome where there are tumors in the stomach that causes the stomach to produce excess amount of acid. There are also certain lifestyle factors like drinking and smoking. Drinking and smoking can cause your stomach to produce excess acid. We also have stress. When you are always stressed, it can cause your stomach to produce excess acid. You can see that there are times where something happened and your body entered into flight or fight mode. You felt discomfort in your stomach. You felt even a burning sensation in your chest. This is because when you are stressed, your body releases cortisol, and one of the things this cortisol does is it stimulates the production of stomach acid, because your body has to be alert, flight or fight mode. So if you are always stressed, your stomach acid will be always producing excessive amounts, and over time this can lead to ulcer. We also have excessive consumption of carbonated drinks, excessive consumption of fatty foods. Yeah, they can increase the production of stomach acid. We also have consumption of foods that are very acidic, like your citrus fruits. You're supposed to consume so many oranges at once. It can increase the production of your stomach acid. We also have caffeine. Consumption of caffeine can increase the production of your stomach acid. So now that we've dealt with 3 causes of peptic ulcer, did you hear fasting? So you see how fasting does not cause ulcer. It's either the Helicobacter pylori bacteria, or you are abusing the NSAID drugs, or the last cause I mentioned, which is stress, or your lifestyle factors like smoking and drinking and all that. But as a matter of fact, fasting actually helps in healing your ulcer. How does this happen? When you fast, you see, the amount of stomach acid your body produces reduces drastically. So when you fast, your body produces very little amount of stomach acid, and what this does is it gives your stomach time to heal. The sores and the lesions there have time to heal. So when you fast, if you have ulcer, you have symptoms of ulcer, when you fast, always drink water. Drink water while you are fasting, and when it's time to break, eat foods that are alkaline in nature, like cucumber, watermelon. That's one. And secondly, eat foods that can help in soothing your stomach. Foods like banana that can help in soothing the stomach. That's two. And thirdly, when you fast and you want to break, as someone that has ulcer, you have to eat in small quantity. When you eat in excess, you put pressure on your stomach, and when there is pressure on your stomach, it causes excessive release of stomach acid, because your stomach is releasing excess acid to help in digestion, to release the pressure. But when you eat small, it releases stomach acid little. If you eat too much because you fasted and you want to break, and you eat a lot, it causes pressure on your stomach, and this pressure will cause release of excessive stomach acid, and you will see that after you've eaten 1 or 2 hours later, you start noticing the symptoms of ulcer. Fasting also helps your stomach mucus production, which will help with your ulcer. Fasting also helps reduce inflammation, which will help your ulcer in healing. And fasting also helps in your gut motility health, which will help in your ulcer. So you see, fasting actually helps with your ulcer. But just like I mentioned earlier, when you are fasting, as someone that has ulcer, drink water, and when you want to break with alkaline fruits and eat in small quantity, so you don't put too much pressure on your stomach to release excessive amounts of acid to help with digestion. Now, what are the foods you can eat to help with your ulcer? You can eat foods that will help with your stomach producing more mucus to help with the acid. What are the foods that can help your stomach in producing more mucus? We have aloe vera, we have fatty fishes like your salmon, your sardine, your mackerels, we have potato, we have yogurt, we have banana. These fruits help your stomach in producing more mucus. We also have okra, carrots, we also have yogurt. I think I've mentioned yogurt. We also have your dark leafy greens like your spinach and your kales. We help your stomach in producing mucus. The second type of foods that can help in stomach ulcer are foods that can help neutralize the acidity of the stomach. They act as a natural antacid. So what are the foods? We have foods like the aloe vera juice, like celery, like cucumbers, like watermelon, dark leafy greens, like milk, like yogurt. These foods can help neutralize stomach acidity. So what are the foods to avoid if you have ulcer? One are spicy foods. Consumption of spicy food can irritate the lining of the stomach, which will exacerbate the ulcer symptoms. You also need to avoid your citrus fruits and juices because they are acidic fruits, and you don't want, if you are someone that suffers from ulcer, you want to keep your stomach acid level as low as possible. So you need to stay away from your citrus fruits and juices. Also, your fatty and fried foods. Your fatty and fried food lowers digestion, and if your digestion is lowered, your stomach now has to release more acid, and you see, the more acid your stomach releases, the worse your ulcer symptoms get. And finally, caffeine. Do away with caffeine, please. Thank you. So that's it, guys. We've come to the end of today's episode where we talked about fasting and spicy foods. We had 2 questions. Does fasting cause ulcer? And if you watch this video to the end, you would have noticed that fasting doesn't cause ulcer. As a matter of fact, you can use fasting as a tool to help your ulcer heal. And secondly, spicy food. Does spicy food cause ulcer? Consumption of spicy foods alone will not cause ulcer, but if you already have ulcer, consumption of spicy food can, as a matter of fact, exacerbate your ulcer symptoms. It can make your ulcer symptoms worse. So if you already have an ulcer, stay away from spicy food. Keep your food as low in spices as possible, because these spices will irritate your stomach lining and will make your symptoms worse. So 2 questions and we have answered them. That's it, guys, for nutrition myth versus fact today. I hope you learned a thing or two. Until I come your way next time, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Don't forget to eat healthy and stay healthy. Bye bye.